Hello readers, I'm Amy, and don't watch this video if you don't want to get spoiled. This is your spoiler warning. I'm going to be reviewing Binti, the complete trilogy. Amadeus is going to be sunning himself next to me. Spoilers! Big spoilers! Telling you now, I'm going to talk about what happens at the end, because this is a rant review, and I need to talk about it, and I need to get it out of my system. So if you don't want to be spoiled, go away. Go. Gone with you. Out. Be gone. Goodbye. Okay, so, Binti. I gave it like 2.25 stars. Binti is a sci-fi novella series. There are 3 main novellas, and the complete trilogy version that I have has a 4th novella in there between the first and second ones. We're following Binti. She is from a tribe that lives on Earth. There's like a bunch of different kinds of peoples, and it goes into racism and how her people are looked down on, and they also look down on this other people that come into play later. And she decides she wants to go to university, and university is actually its own planet. It's Umza University, and its cities are named after the different topics that you study. And so she gets on this ship, which is actually like a fish of some sort that you just can sit inside, and goes across space to go to this university. There's a bunch of different kinds of aliens there, so if you've seen Men in Black, the headquarters, where there's like a bunch of different aliens that aren't really related to each other and speak a bunch of different languages, that is what this book series reminded me of. It's just got all these different aliens. They're novellas, so we don't get a ton of detail into that, but we know that there's different species. And on this way to university, there is an invasion by these Medusae, I believe is how you say it. So they're kind of jellyfish-like aliens, and their main enemy is the larger population of people from Earth. Not Binti's people, but the people who look down on her and her people. I believe they're called the Kush. At least that's how I've been pronouncing it. I didn't listen to the audiobook or anything. And she's the only survivor for reasons, which, okay. One of my big things at the beginning with this was that I didn't realize it was a young adult series of novellas. I'm just like, oh, this is a sci-fi series I've been hearing a lot about. I should read it. And the young adult thing, if you're familiar with me and my reading tastes, you know, I was kind of put off by that. Like, the writing style of young adult, generally speaking, is not usually to my taste. There are several young adult books that I really, really like, but the writing style just was not for me, but it was fine. I was still enjoying the story. We get to learn about the, what was it? Uchis? So whenever I looked it up, I'll put the spelling up here, but whenever I looked up the word, it sounded like it was pronounced as Uchis. It's like Uchis or Ujis. I'm trying to say it like ooh-geez or ooh-cheese. It's one of those two. I'm screwing it up, but I'm trying my best. And turns out Binti's tribe is actually based off of a real people in Africa who use this uchis, it's a red clay, to cover themselves, and they're thought of as very dirty people. They're not. They just use this dirt as kind of a way to keep themselves clean and keep themselves cool, because the area of the desert that Binti is from, that this people in real life is from, doesn't have a lot of water. So that is their way of cleaning and taking care of themselves. And the character of Binti, it's really cool to see how she puts that on, and she feels naked without it, and it's very much a part of her culture. I thought that was beautifully done. We follow her through these novellas as she goes to school, and then she returns home, which her family isn't happy with her for leaving for university, because they see it as kind of a betrayal of the people, because she's supposed to be staying there. And the Medusae, who attacked the ship, she does eventually become friends with them through reasons. The reasons. I won't go into too much detail about the reasons, but what got me with that is that this is a chosen one book series. It's not like, oh, this person has a destiny and she needs to go fulfill it and this is what her journey is going to be. It's more like these things keep on happening, and they're just to her. So she gets turned into part Medusi. So the way a lot of these aliens work is if they interact with each other in certain ways, they will absorb some of each other's genetics. So it's a really cool kind of interspecies interaction. Amadeus, if you knock this over. What do you... Hold, please. Okay, took a rant break to admire my cute cat. Okay, anyways, so there's this, like, interspecies interaction between some aliens. Well, they'll absorb some of each other's genetics. So this human being, Binti, gets stabbed, kind of, by the Medusi at one point when they're interrogating her. Don't remember the reason why, but it ends up transferring some of their genes, so her hair, which I'm imagining is kind of in a dreadlock style from using the mud, the clay on it, is actually turned into what I'm going to call tentacles, because, again, I don't want to butcher the name that they used for it. But she basically has kind of like jellyfish sort of tentacle things for her hair. And later on in, like, the third main book, she has another interaction with another alien and becomes part of that. And she just, like, keeps picking up these parts. And then she also has this little kind of cube hexagon thing that she plays with that gives her certain powers, certain abilities. And it's just, like, all of this chance stuff that happens to her turns her into a chosen one. If this camera moves, it's my cat's fault, I swear. I'm watching you. And so, with all of this, it wasn't a perfect book. I was gonna give it, like, 3.5 stars. Like, I was enjoying myself well enough. I'm like, okay, this is a young adult. I'm gonna put that aside and enjoy the story. Like, it was a really cool take on science fiction. It was an awesome, like, Afrofuturism vibe. I was loving it. And then we get to the end of book 3. Here is where I have serious, serious problems. So, again, huge spoilers. I'm going to tell you how it ends because, again, I'm angry. I need to rant. Ugh. Okay, so, towards the end. Throughout the books, we've had kind of a truce between the Medusi and the Kush, who are the two main people that really hate each other, and that's why Binti was attacked. And the Kush, I'm imagining it's the Kush, are the first ones to break that peaceful pact that they had. And in doing that, they start this war. And Binti is trying to stop the war. So she calls on all of these powers that she has and does something that most people can't do because it's, of course she does, tropes. And for whatever reason, it ends up not working. And they continue on with this war. And first off, I'm thinking, oh, she wasn't successful with stopping the war. Cool. And then she gets shot in the chest. Her legs both get shot off or destroyed or something because they're not useful. She loses her left arm completely and she dies. And I'm thinking, the author went there. I'm starting to tear up. I'm getting all emotional. This war is continuing and our main character has been killed off. And I'm like, she went there. The author went there. The author did that. Finally, there is an author who is brave enough to go there with their characters. Like, I thought it was emotional, but it was so cool that this author was actually willing to go there and do that and show the repercussions of this war. Reminder, no legs, missing her left arm, shot in the chest, actually dead. And then on their way to space, to release her into space as part of her funeral rites, ends up she's actually alive, her legs are now working, her arm has grown back, and her chest is fine. Repeat. No legs. Only one arm. Shot in the chest. And you're telling me you resurrected her for the end of your book so it'd have a happy ending. And on top of that, her family lives in this house with really deep roots in the earth because it's part of a tree. And her family goes, her tribe has this thing about going inward instead of going outward. They stick with themselves and rely on each other instead of expanding their lives out, which is fine. It's their cultural thing. So physically, they go into this tree whenever they are getting attacked by the Koosh. And this tree is burned down. Everything is destroyed. Her home is destroyed. Her family is dead. Well, ends up, the family was just in this sealed-off chamber, and they're actually alive too. I can't. I hated this so much. It used to be that endings wouldn't ruin things for me, but lately endings have been ruining books for me. I was so mad. The author there's finally someone out there brave enough to kill off their main character and give me those emotions. And then, not only is their whole family actually fine, even though she thought that they were dead, everyone thought that they were dead, but also shot in the chest, no legs, missing arm, dead, and she is brought back to life because of her interspecies mixing, which happens to include resurrection. I am so angry at this book. It is lucky to have 2.25 stars. I can't. If you liked this book, I am sorry, but I can't with that ending. Why would you do that? Why? I need this rant. I need to get this energy out. I need to talk about this with somebody because I am pissed. Those are my thoughts. It wasn't all bad. I was actually really enjoying book 3. Until the resurrection. If you like this book, you like this book. To each their own. I did not. Those are my reasons. Please like, subscribe. You can be my friend or my enemy on social media, depending on your thoughts on this video. I will see all of you in my next video, in which I'll probably be in a better mood. Bye.